Are you getting ready for your post-UTME and worried that biology questions might catch you off guard? Don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, we'll tackle some of the most likely post-UTME biology questions. The kind that looks tricky at first, but are actually very easy once you understand them. I will not just give you the answers, but I'll also explain them in details so you never forget. So grab your pen and paper because this might just be the practice section that makes you score high in your exam. The first question we have here says, which of the following is a correct feature of diffusion? Which of the following is a correct feature of diffusion? A. It requires a carrier protein. B. It occurs down a concentration gradient. C. It requires energy from ATP. And D. It occurs only in living cells. The correct option here is option B. It occurs down a concentration gradient. Diffusion is a passive process by which molecules move from an area of high concentration to low concentration until equilibrium is reached. That is the definition of diffusion. It does not require any external energy. For example, when perfume is sprayed in one corner of a room, the scent spreads throughout by the process of diffusion. So option A is wrong because diffusion does not need a carrier protein. Only facilitated diffusion or active transport may require that. Option C is also wrong because ATP is not needed in diffusion. It happens spontaneously. Option D is wrong because diffusion can occur in both living systems and non-living systems. In living system, we have oxygen entering a cell. In non-living system, we have sugar dissolving in tea. So, the correct feature is occurs down a concentration gradient. That is option B. The next question we have here says, which of the following groups contains organisms that are prokaryotic? Which of the following groups contains organisms that are prokaryotic? Option A, Protista. B, fungi. C, Monera. And D, plantae. The correct option here is option C, Monera. Now, to be able to answer this kind of question, the first thing is to know the meaning of prokaryotic organisms. Prokaryotic organisms are organisms that lack a true nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Their DNA flows freely in the cytoplasm. Examples include bacteria and blue-green algae. These are grouped under the kingdom Monera. The protista are eukaryotic organisms like the amoeba and paramecium. They have nucleus. Fungi like yeast and mushrooms are also eukaryotic. Option D, which is plantae. Plantae are higher organisms with complex cell structures. Thus, the correct option is option C because only Monera represent prokaryotic organisms. Question 3 says, in humans, the structure responsible for preventing food from entering the trachea during swallowing is a dash. In humans, the structure responsible for preventing food from entering the trachea during swallowing is the dash. A. Larynx. B. Epiglottis. C. Glottis. And D. Pharynx. The correct option is option B. Epiglottis. When swallowing, the epiglottis acts as a preventive flap that closes over the trachea. Don't forget, the trachea is a windpipe that leads directly to the lungs, so that food and liquids are directed into the esophagus instead and not to the lungs, thereby preventing choking. The larynx is the voice box, not the structure that blocks food. The glottis is the opening of the larynx, but it does not actively close. Option D, which is pharynx, is the region at the back of the throat that connects the mouth and the nose to both esophagus and trachea. Therefore, the epiglottis is the main protective structure. Question 4 says, which of the following is the correct pathway for blood circulation in humans? Which of the following is the correct pathway for blood circulation in humans? A. Heart to veins, veins to arteries, arteries to lungs, and lungs to the heart. B. Heart to arteries, arteries to veins, veins to lungs, lungs to heart. C. Heart to arteries, arteries to capillaries, capillaries to veins, veins to the heart. And option D. Heart to capillaries, capillaries to arteries, arteries to veins, and veins to heart. The correct option there is option C. Heart to arteries, arteries to capillaries, capillaries to veins, and veins to the heart. The circulatory system is designed to move blood efficiently around the body. From the heart, blood is pumped into the arteries. The arteries are thick-walled vessels. This branches into capillaries where the exchange of gases and nutrients takes place. Blood then flows back into the veins, which returns it to the heart. Option A and B mixed up the whole sequence, while option D incorrectly places capillaries before arteries. Thus, the correct sequence is heart to arteries, arteries to capillaries, capillaries to veins, and veins to the heart, which is option C. The fifth question says, in ecological succession, the first group of organisms to colonize a bare habitat are called dash. In ecological succession, the first group of organisms to colonize a bare habitat are called dash. A. Dominant species. B. Pioneer species. C. Climax community. And D. Consumers. The correct option is option B. Pioneer species. Ecological succession is a gradual process by which ecosystems change and develop over time. The very first organism to colonize bare land, that is bare rock or sands, are called the pioneer species. Examples include beaches and mosses, which can survive harsh conditions and slowly create soil. Dominant species refers to organisms that are most abundant at a given stage, not necessarily first colonizers. Climax community is the final stable stage of succession where equilibrium is reached. Example is a matured forest. And option D, consumers depends on producers and cannot start colonization. Therefore, the pioneer species are the foundation of succession. Question 6 says, the structural adaptation of the root hair cell for absorption of water includes. The structural adaptation of the root hair cell for absorption of water includes option A, thick cell walls and small vacuole. B, large surface area and thin cell wall. C, absence of cytoplasm and nucleus. D, presence of chloroplast. The correct option is option B, large surface area and thin cell walls. Root hair cells are specialized for water absorption from the soil. They are long and narrow, which increases their surface area for more contact with the soil water. Their thin cell walls allow easy diffusion of water into the cell. Option A is wrong because a thick cell wall will slow down absorption. Option C is also wrong because root hair cells have cytoplasm and nucleus to control their activities. Option D is wrong because chloroplasts are absent in root hairs. No photosynthesis occurs underground. So the correct option there is option B, large surface area and thin cell walls. Question 7 says, during photosynthesis, the oxygen released come from dash. During photosynthesis, the oxygen released come from dash. A. Carbon dioxide. B. Glucose. C. Water. And D. ATP. The correct option is option C. Water. In the light-dependent stage of photosynthesis, water molecules are split in a process called photolysis. This produces oxygen gas as a byproduct, along with hydrogen ions and electrons. Option A, carbon dioxide, contributes to the carbon in glucose but does not release oxygen. Option B, glucose, is a product of photosynthesis, not the source of oxygen. And option D, ATP, is an energy molecule produced during photosynthesis, not a source of oxygen. Hence, the oxygen we breathe originates from the splitting of water molecules in photosynthesis. Question 8 says, which of the following organelles is double membraned and contains its own DNA? Which of the following organelles is double membraned and contains its own DNA? Option A, ribosome. B, lysosomes. C, mitochondrion. And D, endoplasmic reticulum. The correct option is option C, mitochondria. The mitochondria is called the powerhouse of the cell because it produces ATP during respiration. It is unique because of two major characteristics. One, it has a double membrane, outer smooth and inner folded. The second characteristic is that it contains its own DNA and ribosomes, allowing it to produce some of its proteins and enzymes independently. Option A, the ribosome, is wrong because it has no cell membrane at all. Option B, the lysosome, is also wrong because it is a single membrane sac with digestive enzymes. Option D, the endoplasmic reticulum, is wrong because it has a single membrane network, not a double, and it doesn't have the DNA. Therefore, only mitochondria fits this description, making option C to be correct. Question 9 says, which of these is not a function of the skeleton? Which of these is not a function of the skeleton? A, protection of delicate organs. B, production of red blood cells. C, transmission of impulses. And D, support for the body. The correct option is option C, transmission of impulses. It is not a function of the skeleton. The human skeleton performs many functions such as support, protection, movement, and blood cell formation. When it comes to support, it gives the body shape and structure. When it comes to protection, the skull protects delicate organs like the brain. The rib cage protects the lungs and heart. When it comes to movement, it provides attachment for muscles. And when it comes to blood formation, the bone marrow produces red and white blood cells, but transmission of impulses is not a skeletal function. It is the responsibility of the nervous system, specifically the neurons. Therefore, option C, transmission of impulses, is not a function of the skeleton. The next question says, which of the following reproductive methods result in variation among offsprings? Which of the following reproductive methods results in variation among offspring? A, budding. B, binary fusion. C, vegetative propagation. And D, sexual reproduction. The correct option here is option D, sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of the male and female gametes, each contributing half of the genetic materials. This leading to genetic variation in offsprings, which is important for survival and evolution. Option A, budding, is wrong because it produces identical offsprings. Option B is also wrong. Binary fission is common in bacteria. It also produces identical offsprings known as clones. Option C, vegetative propagation, is wrong because plants reproduce from parts like stems, roots, or leaves. Offsprings are genetically identical to the parents. Hence, only sexual reproduction guarantees genetic variation. Now, here's your bonus question. In the human digestive system, which of the following enzymes is responsible for breaking down fats into fatty acid and glycerol? We have option A, B, C, and D. Drop your answer in the comment section below. Let's see how many of you get it right. Great job. If you have followed through to the end, remember Post-UTME Biology is not just about cramming facts, but about understanding concepts. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be in the exam hall. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss more practice questions like this. And of course, let me know your answer to the bonus question in the comments. I'll be checking. Until next time, keep studying smart and stay confident. You've got this.